Okay guys, welcome to another 8-bit face-off kerfuffle, although this one's actually an 8 and 16-bit kerfuffle, because we do have a 16-bit version in here. And today's game is the mighty Kickstart 2. Not the first one, the second one. I think the first one was only released on a couple of systems. I'll probably look at that one at some point, but no, we're looking at the second one. This was programmed, well, the original was on the C64 and it was programmed by Sean Southern with graphics by Andrew Morris. It was released in 1987. So this is a Spectrum one. Now, graphic wise, it's monochrome largely. Bit of colour clash going on there. Graphics are actually detailed, really nicely detailed. The only one thing that's a wee bit disappointing is, as you can probably hear, there is literally no sound at all. Don't know why that was the case. I mean, I suppose in a game like this, you've only really got two sound effects. Or you could have music, or you could have the sound of a motorbike. And I suppose the sound of a motorbike, unless it was kind of variable, it would end up being the same pitch and it could possibly become really annoying. So maybe that's why they decided to not bother including any sound. But it does seem a bit of a shame to play any computer game in complete silence. So yeah, the idea of the game, it was based on a TV programme which used to air in, I think it was BBC Two. Oh, we're talking mid-70s. Maybe it might have ran into the early 80s, I can't remember exactly. It was hosted by a guy called Peter Purvis, who used to be in Blue Peter. Is Blue Peter still a thing? I don't know. Anyway, yeah, he was a host, and basically it was actually, if my memory serves me right, I'm sure it was kids. Or no, wait a minute, you know what? You had Kickstart, and you also had Junior Kickstart. That was the difference. Yeah, one of them was obviously had kids, and one of them was fully grown adults. And basically, they all had these motorbikes, and they had to, just like what this game's showing, drive over buses and drive over big boulders and drive into skips, and it was mental, absolutely mental. Though if you look at YouTube nowadays, some of the Red Bull things, some of the things that they do in motorbikes now is just even more mental. But yeah, this seemed real cutting edge back in the sort of late 70s, early 80s. So this game is basically an interpretation of that program. You've got to try and get across from the left hand side of the screen to the right hand side to the finishing line as quickly as you possibly could. There was a various number of the tracks. I don't know how many tracks there were. You had 5 tracks. Now you can see there at the top, that is the player, and on the bottom is the computer, though you could play it 2-player. It was a great game to play. I'm not overly impressed with I'm assuming this is a nighttime version, nighttime course in the Spectrum. I'm not a fan of that at all. It's very ugly looking. No, but yeah, you've got 5 courses, and then you've got a total time. And the idea was to basically beat your opponent or beat the computer. This version did have a construction kit, something I never actually ever used. But really good game. This was a budget game. I think it was released by Mastertronic. So that is the Spectrum version. So we'll take a look at the other ones. Right, next version is the Commodore Amiga one. Oddly, there wasn't a release for Atari ST. Don't know why. Doesn't make any sense. See there, it was still the original design was by Mr. Chip Software. The music for this one was converted by David Whittaker. Now, on the surface of it, this one, it obviously looks a lot better. The graphics are nice, you can really see a lot of detail, the trees and all the different bits and pieces. But I did play this one on my Amiga, and it just never really felt as good as the C64 one. I mean, it was obviously a different programming team. If this had been the only version you'd have played, I'm sure you'd have been quite happy. But when you've played to my mind, the original and the best one. You know, you're going to be you're going to compare. So yeah, different obstacles. Water, you've got to jump over. Benches, park benches, you can just drive over at full speed. The big ramps, you can go over at full speed. Telephone boxes, I think you'd literally just drive over them. Fences, you've got to slow up. The little bumps, you can either jump over them or you can you've got to go over them really slow. These brick walls, I'm sure you've got to go over them quite slow, and these little crates again, you've got to go over them quite slow. So it's all about trying to ascertain how quickly or slowly you need to take each individual object, bearing in mind you're trying to get to the end as quick as you possibly can. I mean, this is the game that I would say inspired these. There's a lot of games on the PS3, Xbox 360, PS4. Trials, there's different trials, and it is basically this game reimagined for the current console. I'm not a big fan of these new versions. They're just, some of the courses are just insane. They're absolutely insane, but they're good fun and they don't cost a lot of money, so you might want to go and check them out. But I always prefer the simplicity of the 8-bit, you know, Kickstart games. Maybe somersault, I don't know. Does he go further in this version than he does in other ones? I'm not too sure. But anyway, that's the Commodore Amiga one. Right, next one is the Amstrad CPC 4641. Now, I could not get the joystick to work. Now, being a C64 man, I've always been all about the joystick, so I'm wanting to use keys for this. Again, you'll notice there's a complete lack of sound. I'm not sure who did the actual conversion of this one. Graphics are actually really nice, but the movement, don't know, the movement just seems... The scrolling, look at the scrolling, it's not pixel scrolling, it's not character scrolling, but it's not that smooth. And in a game like this, I think you do need quite smooth sort of animation. Even the animation when the wee guy falls off the bike, he seems to fall off, and then he's literally, there's 2 frames and then he's lying on the ground. Yeah, why is there a complete lack of sound? That doesn't really make any sense to me. Don't think I ever actually got to play this with a pal. Nah, it was always me against the computer. But the thing is, I used to write down my times. Not so much in this one. I mean, I'll be honest. I never played this version that much. It was the original. I was all about the original. I mean, the second one definitely improved a lot on the graphics. I'm not 100% sure if they added any features. I don't think they did. But the playability, I always felt the playability of the original. It's like anything, any films, music, you know, you tend to go for the original, and I think I prefer the original Kickstart, although I did play the second one a lot, albeit it was a C64 one. So, yeah, the Amstrad one, it looks nice, it's colourful, but it just doesn't really seem to handle that well. It definitely loses a few points with the scrolling not being that great. It kind of looks... Does it look rushed? I don't know. It's a shame, because at the end of the day, the Amstrad is a perfectly capable machine, we know that. But I guess it just depends. When you've got different teams doing different versions, the bar is always going to be higher with some teams, you know, and the team that did this one may thought that this was alright, but you know, when you've played other versions, you'll realise it's probably a poor relation. So yeah. So, yeah, that's Amstrad. Let's take a look at the very last version. So, yeah, this is the C64 one. You can see there it was programmed by Sean Sullivan and the graphics were Andrew Morris, and it was tested by Peter Liggett apparently. So yeah, along the bottom there you've got different options. You can have 1 player, 2 player, you've got the construction course. Now right away you'll notice the scrolling on this one is just silky smooth, and that's what it's got to be. It makes a game so much more fun to play. It makes it easier to play actually when the scrolling's this nice. And it's funny, for all the music is quite short, it seems to add to the gameplay. It was what made this game fun. Yeah, sound effects in this one were really good as well. But it was one of these games, the more you played it, the better you got it. Now these bushes there just in the background, so you've got the mud there to negotiate. Bumps in the mud and little potholes, and you can go full whack over here. Now one thing I forgot to mention, as you're leaving, as you're about to go off the end of a ramp, if you press the fire button it kind of propels you up in the air. It does a wee kind of, is that a bunny jump I think it was called back in the day? Oops, you don't want to do a wheelie when you're coming off one of these things. So yeah, you could sort of jump up. I remember watching it on the TV, and I was always quite amazed at how these guys were able to make their motorbikes jump. So yeah, that's all 4 versions. Spectrum one is nice. The graphics are detailed. It's going to lose points for being completely monochrome, and there is no sound at all. Commodore Amiga 1 has definitely got the best graphics. Playability isn't quite there, I don't think, not as good as the C64 one. Amstrad 1 looks nice, it's a bit rough around the edges, and it's probably the weakest version in my opinion. Without a shadow of doubt, my favourite version is going to be the C64 one. It was the original, it looks fantastic, it's got good music, and it just plays better, and that is why I am going for that. So anyway guys, as always, thank you very much for watching.